This ain't one of them times you can slide by what you say that you gonna do. Put your money up, run that fade, time to show and prove. You know the vibes, partner. Ain't got no wins up in my casa. Clowning the day, gone in la mañana. I've been on fire lately. Train my spirit, mind, and body daily. Victory is sweet, that's the science, baby. It's only right we represent from Tampa to Tally. And keep the pressure on these ops, they cardio lacking. Till you flapping on the canvas and bobbing and weaving. Unleashing the fury on your face while the audience screaming. Hope they got great seats or the pay-per-view. Let's get the breakdown from J, DJ, and Q. You know the vibes. Yeah. You know the vibes. You know the vibes.
What's cracking, good people? Welcome to Boxing Vibes TV, man. The world's favorite #1 up-and-coming boxing TV, boxing podcast. I'm your boy Q. We got JD and Jay in the building, man. And we want a quick response on the Shawn Porter fight. Shawn Porter versus Sebastian Formella, fighting out of Germany. He was 22-0, skillful fighter. And they did their thing, man. So Jay, you want to take this one first, brother?
Yeah, let me go ahead. I had the opportunity to really catch this one from bell to bell. It was a good fight, man. I know I ran across a YouTube boxing guy. He called Formella a bum. He was far from a bum. He just didn't. He didn't have the physical tools to match Shawn Porter's power. You know that if he was a lightweight, probably been a completely different fight. He just didn't have the power. Very skillful dude, good footwork. Very durable, good chin. He didn't seem too hurt, even though he was getting hit with big shots. He was counter punching all night. He did press Shawn Porter at times, but it was one of those things. He pressed Shawn Porter, and he wasn't putting too much on his punch. He didn't have the power, and then sometimes Shawn Porter allowed himself to be pressured to kind of work as a counter puncher. So you could tell in parts of this fight. Shawn Porter was trying different stuff. He was on his toes a little bit more. So it was a good fight, man. It was a very entertaining fight. Part of the intrigue was to see if the dude could last the whole 12, but he was fighting to the end. He was a little bit on his horse and backing up a little bit more as Shawn Porter pressured him more in the 10th and 11. But Shawn Porter had his respect, man. It was a really interesting fight. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing Formella fight again. But to be honest about what type of fighter he is, very skillful. Sometimes you just don't have certain tools to be elite. So, I mean, he's definitely a gatekeeper because of his, physical ability. But his skills is good as anybody's. As I like to say, I would like to say he's good boxer, good feet, good speed. Good defense, has it all, but he just doesn't. He's not physically strong enough, I think, to handle the welterweights at that division. So, but good fight all around, though. Shawn Porter looked great.
That's what it is,
man. Yes. And to piggyback off of Jay's point, yeah, from what I witnessed as well, Shawn Porter was typical Shawn Porter. You could definitely tell that Shawn Porter really learned from the Ugas fight. And that he's truly trained for Sebastian Formella to make sure that he made a serious statement against him. I will say this about Shawn Porter. I sort of could possibly see him outlasting most of the welterweights in the division right now as far as longevity. Now, he may not ever reach the peak as far as success or titles or winning, that maybe the Spences, the Buds, the Keith Thurmans, and all of them might reach. But I could see him outlasting them possibly. And here's why. When you watch Shawn Porter, he is the one welterweight in the division that does not rely on reaction time. The way he fights is not at all built on depending on reaction time. It's not at all depending on reflex, which we all know naturally over time, as you get older, you lose those reflexes. You lose that ability to have that head movement, slip punches, slide around. And we all know with Shawn Porter, he ain't worried about none of that. He's just trying to outwill you. He's trying to be in your chest all night long, and either you're gonna stand up to his pressure and you're gonna punch him and really make him think twice, or you're gonna wilt beneath his pressure. And so I can really see, as disciplined as Shawn Porter is, along with his father Kenny Porter, I'm not gonna front, man. I can really see Shawn Porter really, edging out some legitimate victories, in a couple years. They're not old now. None of these welterweights are really old now, but I think when some of them really start to slow down, we already know they don't want to fight Shawn Porter now, and that's when most of them are in their prime. Nobody really, really, truly wants to fight Shawn now, but I really don't see many of them wanting to tangle with him as Father Time starts to kick in and they start to lose some of that instinct that they've had in the past, man. I got to tip my cap to Shawn Porter, man. I personally will argue, actually, when you look at his resume at this point, the man is damn near a Hall of Famer. Now, we don't think of him as a Hall of Famer, but as far as all the people and all the names that he's fought, this man is pretty much up there, man, as a Hall of Famer. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from here, because I kind of don't really see the PBC boys really wanting to sign up to give him a second go, unless they really have to. Then that leaves on the other side, because we know Shawn isn't up there with Spence, Thurman, or Garcia. Then that leaves them looking over to the top rank side, and possibly at some point, maybe with Pacquiao, want to tangle with Shawn Porter at his age, and then possibly at some point will Bud step in there with Shawn Porter. So, he's damn near almost fought everybody, man. He's damn near about fought everybody. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from here.
Let me say this. It's only a few people that can give him a fight that's at the elite level. He's at that elite level. I mean, he beat Danny Garcia. Mm-hmm. You and I, JD, disagree on this. I thought he edged out Thurman. And then it really could have went either way with Spence. Now, here's the thing about, I think it has to be Crawford next. It's unfair for everybody in that situation, right? So there's levels to it, right? So there's no way in the hell Porter is going to have a rematch with you guys, right? Right? It's not worth it, right? It was a close fight. I thought he lost. Some people, 50 fight.
That was a tough night, yeah. Most definitely. That was a tough night.
Yeah. It won, yeah.
He could be world champ and go on and have a legendary career without you guys. Same can be said for everybody who's already fought Shawn Porter or the likes of Manny Pacquiao, right? So Manny Pacquiao doesn't need Shawn Porter, right? So he don't need us. Dan Garcia already lost. If he loses to Porter, if he loses to
Spence, yeah.
There's really no incentive to go potentially have another L fighting Porter. And then if you're Spence, like I said, there's levels to it. You're going to do the same thing Porter did to you guys. You're going to do to Shawn Porter, just because it's a tough fight. You got by it. Really, it was a good fight of the year. You won. Move on. And you can have a legendary career without him. I mean, you might do a rematch at a later date, but really the fight to be made is Porter Crawford. And that's just because it's the most reasonable fight to make. They haven't fought each other. It's going to be blockbuster for boxing fans, but it'll be a reasonable amount of money that they both can make on it. Nobody's going to be hollering A side or B side. Shawn Porter, I think his ultimate thing, he wants to get in there and fight the best competition, and his resume speaks to it. So I think the money can be settled upon pretty easily. So I think what makes the most sense and where Porter should go from here is definitely Bud Crawford. I really don't see – I'd be shocked if Spence turned right back around and gave us a part two. And I'd be doubly shocked if if Garcia loses, he turns around and fights Porter after that. So it really doesn't leave much out there for him but Bud Crawford.
Now, do you think now again, this probably doesn't make sense for Brooke. Do you think Brooke, as inactive as Brooke has been, you think Brooke gives Porter a rematch at some point?
Ooh. Hell no. I mean, yeah, think about it. The Shawn Porter, as great as he is, good, Pop's good dude. And I'm gonna stop it and tell a real interesting story, man. I met Shawn Porter in Las Vegas a few times, and I took a picture with I think my phone was dead or something, and his father took a picture of us, and I was like, oh well, how am I get the picture, man? And he just told me, he's like, hey, we real people, man. He texted me, the picture, but of course being just a fan and not being some. I just took it for what it's worth and took the picture, man. I just remember that. So
and we could have had the interview, bro. You ain't even got the number no more. You ain't even got Kenny's number no more, huh?
You're absolutely right, man. I should have, but I wasn't trying to take, the kindness.
Right.
Take advantage of it. So, but I'll only mention to say, man, I got all the love for Shawn Porter, but he's just not a fan favorite like that to attract the dollars to make somebody want to jump in the ring with him. He's a tough out, number one. And number two, the bag is not gonna be there. So it's gonna be easy for people to be like, I'll take a different route. Not that people are afraid, but the risk ain't worth the
reward, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
most of where you at with the Q? Where you at with the Q?
Nah, I feel both y'all sentiment with that, man. The risk ain't really worth the reward. I want to see it, and personally, man, for me, I feel like, and we talked about this the other day, I feel like Crawford, man. I mean, bro, he done fought everybody else, man. Mm-hmm. And just as many people as he fought, Crawford hasn't fought. You know what I'm saying? In the welterweight, so it'll be a good yin and yang. You know what I'm saying? Like about balance. So I like to see that. I think it'll be a good fight, and I know they're great friends and everything. But if no other fight could be made, like I said, I feel like Crawford should fight him or Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? Right. I heard mm-hmm. I don't but as far as Shawn Porter go, it's unfortunate for him, man. I mean, he a dog, and sometimes like you say, if he had the max drawing power, it'll be harder for people to avoid him. They could avoid him by just saying it ain't the bag and it ain't really worth it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Mm-hmm. So I would if it was me, I like seeing him in Crawford. You know what I'm saying? I like to see him in Crawford because he don't really got nowhere else to go, man. I mean, is he gonna go up the damn junior middleweight?
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
fight one of the Charlos, or fight little Charlo that's fight somebody. He had to move up and weight.
Right.
And he a big boy. I think he fought at junior middleweight before. You know what I'm saying? Middleweight.
He was fighting
the amateurs.
Yeah, so man, if you really look at it, man, he just don't attract the mainstream dollars, and a lot of it's to do with his fighting style. It has nothing to do with his resume. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you really examine his resume, he won a welterweight title from Paulo Malignaggi, fought Kell Brook, Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman, and this is successive fights.
Devin Alexander, Andre Berto.
Yeah, Adrian Gonzalez, Danny Garcia, you guys, Spence,
mm-hmm.
So he's definitely battle tested, and he's definitely one of the elite fighters. He just doesn't put fans in the stands, and a lot of it has to do, stylistically, a lot of people don't like the way he approaches his fights, but he's definitely got more skill and technical as time went on. But
right.
It's really for him. He's one of those fighters. I want to really put him in a marvelous Marvin Hagler kind of category. Just a hard-nosed workhorse. And anytime you're in a fight, it was going to be a hard out, but he just wasn't that fan favorite. Just like a Timothy Bradley. I think if they were in their primes, Timothy Bradley, Shawn Porter would have been a dream fight. But, it's one of those things where he's just not that marketable yet. Even though he's a great guy, great family, he's just not there. But I think, he's just in a weird position right now. He's not the main attraction, but he has main attraction talent. So for him, I think it's an incentive for people not to fight him just because the bag's not there. But I'm gonna say something too, and I don't care about friendship, because I'm gonna tell you right now, through the history of boxing, friendship has never stopped a box office big time fight. That is not an excuse. So,
Right. Well,
I don't know if that's been the reoccurring theme with him and Bud Crawford or whoever. I just know when it comes time to it, nobody hates anybody. You got to handle business, and business is business, and he's in the business of fighting. So,
right. And I saw an interview with him, speaking to your point on Bud Crawford friendship thing, right? I watched the interview the other day with Shawn Porter called his he was speaking on just what he had and what's going on with him. And in the interview, the interviewer basically put him in the corner. He was like, "Well, what's up with he got his way into it real smooth, talking about friendships and boxing, because him and Thurman was friends." And he said, well, he knew him and Thurman was going to end up having a bump head because they was in the same weight class, so he was mentally prepared for that already. But he said Bud Crawford, pretty much he was like, he was in the lower weight class, 135, 140, what have you. And so it was a period of time before it materialized for him. So he knew he had a longer period before he had to get into business, attack fight mode with him. So friendship was able to bud, no pun intended, a little more. But he said he brought it up to Bud. He brought it up to Chance Crawford. And Crawford was like, he got some things, some things cooking, and that don't work out, blah blah. We'll revisit it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I like that coming from Shawn Porter. But Shawn Porter, he don't got a lot of options like that, bro. He don't fought everybody. People don't want to answer the doorbell the second time. And end of the day, man, he got to keep moving, man. You know what I'm saying? He got to keep moving. And so
and what I will say real quick to your point, Q, and yours, Jay, is to that point you stated about their true friendship, where I know they got each other lying. Like, they could call each other up right now while we speak. I think that also adds an element to where that fight will have to happen at a certain point, because there really will be no excuses at some point for that not to go down, or Porter or Bud will have to say what really happened, because we all know they close. We all know them boys talk all the time, so it's gonna have to happen at some point.
And real quick, wait, let me just say something real quick. And another thing on Shawn Porter, because I was thinking, like, why ain't when you was talking, Jay, I'm thinking, why ain't Shawn Porter marketable though? Because he should be. He all action. And I think about it when I watch him. I mean, I think, and you like you say, Marvin Hagler. I agree more with the Tim Bradley side of things, because I feel like he don't have a lot. He don't have a lot. The knockout power ain't there for him like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he had the power. He has power, but the one punch power, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Hagler probably had a lot more of that. And I feel like the workhorse Tim Bradley style suit him. That's more the comparison I got. I was right with you on the Tim Bradley. But I think that's probably one thing. He's a lot of action, but we want to see what Povetkin did to Dylan White. You know what I'm saying? We want to see more of that. We want to see more of that out in these streets. You know what I'm saying?
He has an aggressive kind of pit bull kind of feel, almost Mike Tyson-esque sort of thing, but the knockouts don't come with it. So that's definitely
right. That's what people. Because sometimes you just got it. You got that flair. You got the personality that make people want to. You know what I'm saying? Or you know how to play it. Just like Mayweather. Mayweather know how to play it. Man, he was undefeated. Right. He had a lot of different things going for him. You know what I'm saying?
And the other difficult part about Shawn Porter is, and just to be blunt, honest about his skill level and talent, like he's more will than skill, even though he does have great skill. Right, and so for him, he's very muscular, but if you really look at it, he's an undersized welterweight. He's one on the smaller end, where he's 5'7".
So height-wise, he is short. He is shorter height-wise than a lot of them.
And so he doesn't have a frame to fill out to really be competitive at 154. And then you're not going to have a lot of 140-pounders signing up to fight, this tank. So then he's pretty much stuck at 147, waiting on people, as opposed to trying to make catchweight fights, because as aggressive as he is, it only works when you're stronger than somebody, or as strong as somebody. And if you start moving up in those
Right.
big races, you're going to get to a lot of people who are, that pressure's, okay, that's nice, but what you got to go with it? And if he doesn't have a lot of behind those punches to affect a junior middleweight who probably walks around at 160 to 75 pounds, then that's going to be a whole different ballgame. So he's kind of in a catch-22 where he's searching for opponents, and how some people have that flexibility, like a Canelo, to kind of go to a catch weight and, because they can fill out him a little bit better. He's really not in that position. So he's really in a difficult spot. And I would like to really see Bud Crawford fight him, but got some other things cooking because he got options.
Yeah. And to your point, Q, to your point, Q, about his marketability, I mean, you're right. I think what it is even going back to when Porter fought Spence, I think what the average boxing fan wants to see what we witnessed through Porter is we witnessed effective aggression. Like he has very effective aggression. But I think what most boxing fans want to see is they want to see the best way I say it is clean aggression. People want to see clean aggression. They want to see you apply that pressure, but it not be as many moments where people feel like, all right, he just mauling the dude.
Well, I'm gonna keep it simple. More so with what Q said, man. If you're going to be that aggressive,
gotta knock him out.
You gotta get some results. You gotta get some results.
Get a knockout.
We hit 12 down. So
they mentioned the interesting stat last night. I don't think he's ever had, because he doesn't have that big one punch power. He hadn't knocked. I don't think he's ever knocked anybody out past round 9, something like that. So he's not a knockout artist. He's a workhorse, and so a lot of people, and to be honest, a casual fan, and even sometimes real boxing fan, want to put people in a box. So if they see this muscular mauler who may not be as skillful as everybody else or shows it like everybody else, they're like, okay, well, you're giving us knockouts. Well, then, okay, well, you're covering up your lack of talent, which is your mauling ability to maul, and you can outlast people.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of may turn people off who, number one, don't know a whole lot about boxing and never boxed to know what Shawn Porter actually does is amazing. To have that, to be in that kind of shape, to be able to fight world-class opponents with that level of pressure continuously over 12 rounds is absolutely amazing. But the appreciation and the dollars aren't out there with it to really make him a more attractive fight.
Already. Yeah, man. But hopefully bright things coming up for that man, because he deserves it, man.
He deserves it, most definitely.
I mean, I pray, what is Bud, you know what I'm saying, or
Hall of Famer Shawn Porter.
Somebody, man. I doubt if Pacquiao I doubt if Pacquiao want that. I don't want it for him.
Pacquiao don't want that. Pacquiao don't want that.
Man. Why? For what? You know what I mean?
5 years ago, Pacquiao wanted that, but not now.
Yeah, I don't even worry about that. So I really don't see where else he could go. So at the end of the day, man, salute Shawn Porter, man. You a dog, and we love watching you fight. It's just one of them things, man. Risk reward for the boxers. People don't want all that work, man. You too much work for them, man. You know what I'm saying?
And not enough money. That's an unfortunate.
Not enough money,
But and he should be.
I think so. But that's what it is, man. We're gonna wrap this one on up, man. We're gonna get with y'all later, man. You know what I'm saying? Boxing Vibes TV podcast, man. We on our way to the moon, man. We right behind Tesla. We with Tesla and Apple, man. Y'all need to roll with us, man. Get with us. Let the notification, subscribe button, smash that like button, man. Stop playing. You know what I'm saying? You want to be the one that was here when. Get in there. That part.